Good evening and welcome to the Buckland Select Board meeting of November 26, 2024. It's 5:30 p.m. We have, looks like one appointment tonight, which is the Shelburne Falls, Mass Area 2758 liquor license amendment application. The applicants have completed the proper application forms to change their officers and manager to reflect the actual membership. We would have a chance to look it over. Everything looks good at this point now. I would make a motion to approve the application as written, and the Eagles to submit the renewal application with amended and updated board of managers. I'll second that. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What do you need?
Okay.
Yep, there's the paperwork in there for you guys to sign.
Our first agenda item, we have the Buckland Rec area season closing date. The recreation manager's agreement is to open and close the rec area during the summer months while the pool is open. The opening and closing of the gate align with the pool hours. After the pool closes, the rec area is typically open until mid-October, weather permitting. Cindy opens the gate at 10 a.m. and she closes it at sunset. This year, she's continued to open and close the gate past October, and is effectively doing this on a volunteer basis as her salary line's been depleted for the season. The question is whether we should continue to keep the rec area open until it snows, or if the board decides to do this, then we need to consider changing the responsibility for Cindy to the highway facilities. Doing so would allow the rec area to open earlier, but would necessitate it closing at 4 p.m. When they're done for the day. It would also mean that the rec area is closed Friday through Sunday, or it will close at 2 p.m. Monday through Friday when they switch off their 4 10-hour schedules. Unfortunately, the town cannot afford to pay overtime for someone to come in and open the gates on the weekends. So that's kind of where we're at. I'll kind of give it to Cindy to maybe give us a little bit more of a layout unless she pretty much had it.
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think most people are you opening it on the weekends too? Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I think that's probably, I would say when most people are utilizing it. So it's, I think it's.
Maybe we explain why it's locked.
Well, I guess we can start there.
Does everyone
So she's there. She's just muted.
Heather, would you like to jump in and explain why the gate's locked in the first place? Did your video next to your microphone?
They're still muted. There she goes.
I'm having a full time hearing the board, which is great.
I can actually probably answer that question a little bit. So the question was, why is the gate locked in the first place? And it's basically, we now have a $2 million swimming pool, all of the infrastructure, all of the plumbing, etc. That is there now. And honestly, it's very much a safety issue. Our insurance company has pointed us in the direction of making sure we have that area locked on off hours when there aren't people there to supervise. Even though the pool does get covered in the winter, it's still sort of could be an attractive nuisance in some respects. There have been instances where buildings are vandalized, plumbing is completely ripped out in this day and age. It's tough. Okay. So that's the main reason I would say that we're looking to close it down. Historically speaking, I know when I was on the rec committee many years ago, the day the pool closed, we basically closed that area down, but we didn't have a playground. So now that we have the playground, we do feel a certain amount of, obviously we want the community to be able to use the playground, especially if we're having a warm fall. But there does have to be a time when Cindy is no longer on payroll for that. And then when it starts getting icy in the winter, we're not maintaining the road in there. It's a dirt road. We can't be plowing that. It would make a mess.
Even the play structure, I don't even climbing on the play structure with
Right.
ice on it because.
As an elementary school teacher, you can speak to
Down at
that.
one of our arms at Buckland Shelter.
There you go. It's just not it's just not an area it's not a 365 day a year area.
I know last year there
It's-
was a lot of talk about it. I was telling the guy, well, how come it's not open? I would bring my kid to play. Well, I think it gets past November. I really do. I think
Well, the days get short too.
it's dark now, and I'm tired and ready for bed at 6. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of agreeing with what Tim's saying. November 1st, just I think a hard number is better than let's play with the weather. So.
So one person sent me an email that said, the person also sent out how it's done in other much larger communities, but this is one option, to keep the rules the same and move the fences back 20 feet to let people park on the grass and go in under the locking bar. It is possible that the one on the right is the leach field, in which case it would only work on the side closer to so-called, Upper Buckland.
Unfortunately, that side we had to go through conservation to keep that as it is.
Okay, no,
We had to go through the whole permitting process with conservation and DEP to hit a certain buffer zone because we had to replace what we took with the same amount of space. So that's one reason why that wouldn't work.
We did discuss that, putting a parking lot in there, but it was.
well, the idea is you don't want people back there when it's going under a gate. I mean, there's a reason what you just explained what's happened in the past
Yeah.
to prevent vandalism.
The paths, also just to be clear, the town doesn't own the majority of the hiking paths. They can be accessed on the other end
Right.
at the Mohawk parking lot. People can park there and get in that way if they're looking to cross-country ski in the winter or whatever. They don't need to get in on the rec side of things. Really, we don't own most of that hiking, those paths.
I don't think we really own any of it.
It's just to the edge of the ball field,
There's
basically.
not much past the ball field that,
No.
and even that it's all private property after that
Right.
someone allows
Right.
people to access.
Well, I just wanted to raise it so that
Absolutely. We've tried to think it through from a practical standpoint and also from the constraints of what the insurance company is telling us, liability, just our own investment at the property. So
And just to kind of add to that is, they have full-time staff for their recreation areas.
Right.
You
Right.
look at you have Greenfield, you have Amherst,
Right.
the ones that were listed there, and they have full-time rec staff.
right.
So that's why they can get open early in the morning and closed at dusk because they're
Right.
being paid to do so.
Right.
And we can certainly do that, but we're going to be paying somebody to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, we're really not in that position to do it right.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
So, I after speaking with Cindy to kind of see where her budget allows, I think with the weather the way it is, being able to push that back to give people a little bit more time because our normal closing was October 15th.
Right.
Was the normal time it was closed. So, with the way that goes, November 1st would still be able to fall inside of where your budget is at that point. But I think keeping the same hours as what you have for the pool, and there's consistency there.
And when does it reopen in the spring?
Well, the pool will open Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
But I'm contracted, May 1st, but we usually open up in the middle of April,
Mhm.
which I'm fine with that too.
Yeah. So, but I think, I think it definitely at this point now, we're deep enough into the season to where, it should be closed for the season. I mean, we're looking at potential snow
Yeah, there you go.
tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so, I mean, I think by at least pushing it off and getting us to November 1st, works inside of the budget that we have. So,
And they're working for brand new structures. They're working for brand new structures at the lower end of Buckland, Shelburne, towards town, the primary grades, because those are a little bigger than they should be for preschool, kindergarten, second grade, and they're going to put some new ones in, and they've just finished putting new stuff underneath them, and
Very great.
yeah, it's going to be, it's necessary. The last one's put in when I was teaching there years ago, so it's, yeah. So that's a place they could go, is what we're saying. It's,
Would you like an update of how our season went?
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, please.
I tried to get it from Pam the last meeting. She wouldn't give it to us. So.
What? We're waiting on Mike's numbers for one thing, which I think we're still waiting on.
Still waiting for our expenses, but anyway, I can just tell you. So we were scheduled to be open 88 days through the season. We closed 5 due to the weather. Leaves us with 83 days that we were open.
That's not bad.
Daily pool attendance, including season passes and day passes, totaled 4,379 people, averaging 53 a day. So that's pretty good. Buckland residents, they're the most, 2,744. The Mohawk district was 1,241, and out of district was 394. So we had a really good season. Let's see. So Buckland residents for family season passes, we had 56 family passes, 38 for the Mohawk Trail District, and 3 for non-residents. Individuals, we ended up with like 25. So we had a total of 122 family passes sold. So again, that was our goal, was like 120 to 125. So we met that goal. We had 944 day passes sold. And we did really well with swim lessons. We did awesome with the water fitness class. So I think we're going to try to beef that up a little bit and maybe extend it out, do a little bit more with that. We had 15 pavilion rentals. So our total revenue coming in was just shy of 50,000, which is good. We still have a lot of expenses and payroll and everything, so we just about broke even on that. But I think going forward for next year, we might not have to ask for quite so much money for help. But I'll know more.
That was, I think, kind of the plan setting it up is to where it
Right,
was
yeah,
self-sustaining.
right.
So,
So the rec committee
That's good.
had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about day passes and, do we keep the rates the same or whatever. Ultimately, it's, your decision. We all decided that we would like to be able to keep the passes the way they were this year
Mhm.
for next year, to get another full year in to see where we're at. But it's your decision, whatever, but we recommend staying the same if we can.
I think so. We've only been open 1 year. I hate to bounce.
If we could just get one more
I
year
think,
under
I
our
think
belt, we'll get
at
a
least
clearer
one more.
picture.
Yes.
So, but, oh wow, we had a good year.
Yeah. Good. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, is this something that we really need to vote on tonight about?
Heather can't
Closing it?
hear anything.
Say something.
I'm just sitting here. I'm not.
Sorry, I'm late, and I don't know how the conversation has gone, but Heather let me and Phoebe Walker and Cindy Skelly know about this meeting. I don't know if this is a okay time to discuss.
Yep, we're still part of the rec discussion right now, so.
Okay, I couldn't go to the meeting last week, but I think the gate closure issue was part of the discussion, and I think Heather, let everyone know that my understanding is that there's a concern about, people accessing the rec area, nobody's noticed that.
So a lot of it is just the biggest change right now is that the Mass DOT put up the no parking signs. So, people don't have, if the rec gates are not open, there's no place to park. And, we don't have any control over Mass DOT posting no parking signs on a state highway. We can't control that. But that's what people did in the past. At this point right now, what we're looking at is, financially, we can't pay somebody to go and open the gate every morning, be able to close it at night. Cindy has kind of extended her season voluntarily and been going up and still opening the gate for people to be able to access it during the day. For the end of this season. But moving forward, we can't keep asking Cindy to do that. At least without, we could, but we would need to offer to pay her to do that as well.
Yeah.
And it's not in the budget. We have, with the finance committee, where our budget kind of lands. So, but there's other access points as well, because a lot of the people are looking to access the trail system out behind the rec, which isn't even town-owned property. So, but those trail systems feed over to Mohawk. So, people could park at Mohawk and access the trails there. So, but that's kind of been the biggest hurdle that I see, is that with Mass DOT not allowing people to park in front of the fence line, like people used to. That's kind of thrown a kink into, the well-made plans that there's been for years now. So,
So I'm a frequent user of the rec area, the trails, and in talking to other people who use it, it's definitely impacting the ability to use the trails. And yes, you can sometimes go to the high school and park there, but that's also when there are activities going on at school, when school's in session and that sort of thing.
why is it restricted?
Well, I don't think they really want you walking through the track area, and there's signs about dogs during school hours and stuff like that. So, but the other thing is that there's a playground now, which never existed
But there's
before.
signs about dogs for the rec as well.
There's leash, yes, but there's signs about dogs on the property during school hours and that sort of thing. There is some of the land that at the beginning of the trails is on town property. There's other facilities like basketball, the court that got renovated, there's the playground, so people aren't gonna walk all the way from the high school to the playground. It's kind of dangerous to cross the street from Woodward Road, which is where people park a lot.
So I guess my question to you would be is, who's paying to have somebody go up there and open the gates?
So the one option that could solve this, that I think wouldn't be horribly expensive, is to move the gates inward. The wooden ones could be reposted, and then the metal gate, just move it in 10 feet or something, and then people could park in the driveway, like against the closed gates.
Right. But I don't think it can because that's the leach field for the rec area.
We were talking about it, but then I'm talking about on the driving surface.
Correct. But where you're talking about moving the fence to is the leach field. So being able to move the fence back, you can't do it.
Where
Is the issue.
is the leach field? On both sides of the,
Well, one side is protected by conservation, so going towards the upper Buckland side is protected by conservation, so we can't move that section back. The other side where there's that small field area, if you're coming into the gate off to the right, is where the leach field is for the whole septic system up there.
It's a very large leach field.
Yeah.
Very large.
yeah,
So
well, I mean,
basically, so moving the fence back isn't an option, unfortunately.
I'd have to walk it because, I mean, by conservation, you mean people can't park within a certain range from the riverfront area? 'Cause
We had to get approvals through conservation for what the,
Because we had to take some land that's in the riverfront area, so we had to replace it with replace that. We couldn't make that into a parking area, for example, up there.
For the wooden gates.
Well, I think you were talking about putting cars parking over there on the left now. Well, either way, we can't plow. We're not plowing it all winter, so it really would be a seasonal.
time anyways.
That's fine, but then there's
So-
like 6 months or 9 months
Right.
where somebody could, if the,
So this is why we're talking about Cindy having the gates, being able to open until November 1st, and at least extending it from the normal October closure. And it's usually open by May 1st. So, I mean, that's,
well, I mean.
because that's, all of that there is going to fall inside of, what, the funding that we currently have, to be able to do that.
So Heather asked what other communities have parks like this.
Mhm.
So Amherst has
That has a full-time rec department that opens and closes gates.
Mill River Recreation Facility, similar to Buckland Rec in that it has courts, it has a pool with a fence around it, it has a pavilion that you can rent, and it has access to trails.
Where is that?
In Amherst, Mill River Recreation. It has no gates that are ever closed. It's signed like closed dusk to dawn, but it is not. I asked a colleague of mine who lives near there.
Right.
It doesn't have a gate that ever closes.
So it has to be gated for us because of insurance. That's one of the requirements for the town's insurance company. Why they don't have that, I can't explain it because I'm not a resident of Amherst and I don't
Right.
control their, maybe they have a gate and just never close it. I don't know.
The requirement for the town's insurance is that even though the pool area is fully fenced, you can't have a.
Especially during the winter months when it gets icy in there because it's not maintained. That's part of it for sure. I know, talking to our insurance company, that's one of the things they wanted to be sure of.
What about when it's not?
I mean, November 1st is kind of a,
It's gonna be closed during the winter.
right, it's gonna be closed during the winter from November.
Kids won't be playing. I mean, people can park on Woodard, cross the street.
But we'd prefer no one be going in even during the winter.
Really?
Well, because it gets really icy in there.
It's always been something that people walk their dogs, even before the old pool.
Yeah, I don't.
Can you explain to her what you told us earlier about the vandalism that happened and what the?
Well, that's part of the reason behind, I think, that we decided to close it when it isn't staffed, is just because there have been other facilities that get vandalized. If you're able to drive in there, for example, with a vehicle, I mean, they can pull the plumbing out, copper pipes. I mean, it does happen.
I understand that concern, but I still feel like it has been restricted greatly from what it used to be. And there are other uses of the recreation facility, and it's, you know,
I mean, I'm trying to figure out how it's being restricted more now than what it used to be.
well,
I mean, like I said, the only thing that's been taken out of the equation is Mass DOT preventing parking right in front of it. That has nothing to do with the town. We had no say in it.
there was never a restriction of walking under the gates and using it during the winter. People ski there on the trails.
It wasn't
It
enforced.
was enforced, couldn't say.
No signs.
They were using it at the wrong risk, and yeah. But I hear you, but
The hours
Right.
that the gates were open, I mean, it's hard to remember back before the pool was closed, but while the pool was closed, the gates were open, they were plowing in there. It was, people walked in there before they went to work in the morning. It was, and then with the pandemic was happening and the playground was in use, people were using that a lot. It was like the only outdoor place.
Right. But the gates were still closed. People were parking in front and going in to utilize it.
They weren't closed.
During COVID, Steve plowed that 1 year.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Just that 1 year.
But I'm not talking about winter, I'm talking
Right.
about non-winter time.
Right, but non-winter time,
The gates were open.
we're saying that the gates will be open during the day from May 1st to November 1st. So
Right.
from November
They
1st,
can't do it before work, they can't do it after 6 p.m. when it's like light until 8:30 out. It's more limited now.
well,
I'm just telling you that people are interested in having
and
more access.
And I understand that, but again, at the same time, we now would have to pay somebody to come out and actually open and close that gate.
Mhm. What happened before, when the old pool was in session, was there,
The gate was closed and people parked out front.
it was always closed
Yeah.
year round?
Yes. Yeah, it was closed when the pool
When the
was
pool
open.
closed,
I
yeah.
seem to remember parking in
It
the
opened Memorial Day weekend and it closed,
September 15th.
yeah. Yep. If people wanted access, they parked in front and they walked around the gate and went in. That's how people accessed it.
I think before we were making any decisions, I think I'm gonna talk to Heather about, let's check through this through our, through legal. We really, I think there's a liability factor that whether it's spring, summer, winter, or fall in that area, because if it's owned by us and something happens and you can't guarantee that, we'll walk and we won't fall. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but we need to check ourselves, our liability, before we really make a decision one way or the other, because it might swing it, either way. So we'll talk to Heather about that, because I'm not prepared to make any decision tonight, so.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So I think we need to do
I
that.
think at least,
Sure.
we're here now at the end of November, so I think
Right.
it's
I thought we were talking about this year.
At least at this
shutting it
point
down.
now,
Yes, yeah.
gonna be closed for the season.
And we'll check with that. I would have checked on that. I don't remember it being open. I remember a lot of people going in through Mohawk, and I taught, at Buckland Shell, but even at Mohawk for a while when I was AD, and nobody ever worried about people going on through unless the dog was off leash. Okay, that's what was the concern. We had several that came out of the woods that were German Shepherds, and I'm not picking on the breed. I'm saying that were unattended, Most high school kids are not out. They don't have recess, but they are outside at times. And, that's a matter of just being responsible adult and thinking, well, I see kids out there. I guess I shouldn't go there. And the trails start beautifully from there. They go right up. But I hear you. I just find we're going to have to check. And I think anyways, we need to check liability. And it's not our land, most of it. Once you get out on those paths, you're actually looking for the people who.
Once you get to the back of the baseball
Right,
field,
there you go. Yeah.
it's no longer town
There's
property.
a path along the stream that's on
Yeah,
town
yeah.
property, and so you can do
Right.
loops that
Oh,
are
yeah,
on the
yeah.
town property.
But,
So what I was suggesting about the gate is that I understand about the septic system. I understand about resource areas. If you moved the wooden gate, even if you didn't move the side that was the septic, move it in and have the gate over the drive moved in, people could park, 2 or 3 cars could park on the driveway, which would not impact any wetlands or the septic systems. And that's usually does it. People in winter, it's like 1 or 2, 3 at most cars. And I think that would possibly solve the whole problem, because then you wouldn't have people driving in and vandalizing. Any walking person could vandalize, so.
Right, but also going back to what Larry said, if this is a town liability, then having the gate closed and now getting more parking spaces on the outside part of the gate is now inviting people to go in there.
Well, you're restoring
Where it's not.
DOT
But if it is a liability on the town, then we shouldn't be creating space for people to be able to go in when that space is not open.
Why bother putting in a renovated basketball court or trails or anything? It's always going to be a liability for the town. It's a recreation.
You're right, but inside of the time when it's open, the town is covered by insurance. When it's closed, it's not covered by insurance. That's the issue. So if people are going in there on their own when the rec area is closed, then that opens the town up to a lawsuit if somebody gets hurt in there.
Well, I mean,
Just because you go and do it doesn't make it okay.
But Ashfield has, next to the lake, there's some swing sets and stuff. Those are open 24/7. So many towns have, like Green River Swimming Area in Greenfield. Obviously, the swimming isn't available year-round, but they have a playground and some soccer fields and a bridge over where
Right.
people walk. It's open
But
24/7.
here's the thing, okay? I'm not
Liability.
I'm not liable for Ashfield, for Amherst, for Greenfield, for those.
Those municipalities have
I'm-
insurance that.
I'm
must
here for the
cover
town of Buckland, and if our insurance company is telling us that when it's not being used, it needs to be closed for liability purposes, then that's what we should be doing. That's what's in the best interest of the town, not the few people that go to utilize it. And I understand, if we could just not have any gates there at all, that's what we would do. But we're being told that it needs to be gated off by our insurance company so that we're covered. I mean, there's other playgrounds within, 3-mile radius of there. We're working on doing more down at the cricket field as well, so there'll be more even in the town of Buckland.
And be walking trails there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which are not closed.
Yeah.
But we just put a lot of money into the whole area up there, including the swimming pool. I mean,
Right, and
I-
that's why we want to be able to
But
use it.
during the summer, it is open. Are we talking about year-round or?
yeah, I mean, it's open.
Recreation,
Again, it's open from
It's-
April 1st
Right,
to November 1st.
Mhm.
So I'm not,
and it's
think we're-
open pretty late because the pool doesn't close until 7:30.
Yeah, so I mean, it's, the hours during the summer are quite a bit. I mean, so I'm not
Many people used to walk their dogs in the early morning. It's not available anymore.
Okay. But they can access it from other points.
Only because it was closed for construction. People started going into the Gutierrez property that way, even though, and parked on East Buckland Road. Luckily, he was fine about that.
I believe most of that property back there that the trails are on is Gutierrez's property
Well,
that he
it's
allows
that and,
people to use.
The,
Bartlett's.
Yeah.
sorry?
The Bartlett's.
Yeah, they don't have access from their property into the trails, but they have signs saying they let people go on there.
Mhm.
And the school, they don't really want random people in the beginning of the school day going on trails, that aren't school related. So it's really the town access point that is, always was used, and it just seems.
I haven't heard anything from the school saying that they want the trail access from their parking lot restricted. I've heard 0 complaints from the school. And I would assume that if the school had a problem with people parking there, they would come to the board to say that.
Oh, we want the signs, but most schools, they
I mean,
really
it's
don't
a-
want people.
It's a public parking lot. Now, you can't enter the buildings during school
Right,
hours,
just like-
but
Buckland Shelburne Elementary doesn't let people play on the playground during school hours. It just is a typical thing that school is, when school is in session, it's the.
again, I think we're arguing the same thing, but, I mean, other than it's not being opened at 6 a.m. That's never been the case. That gate's never been open at 6 a.m. Even during the summer, it was never opened at 6 a.m.
In
So-
2018, 2019, I was regularly on my way into work meeting people. I formed friendships with people. We all parked in the
Right.
rec
So if the
area.
gate got left open or something.
That was
yes.
probably the COVID year, I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
It was before COVID, but the swimming pool was probably not working. But anyway, it was routine to be able to park in there and meet up.
Well, I think I think we need to do more digging on this and, reach out to our insurance company and find out from there before we do anything. Because, if our insurance company is telling us no, I'm not going to risk the town losing its insurance policy so that we can have the gate open for people to go and walk on trails that's not even on town property. At 6 a.m. I mean-
Playground.
Again,
No, the playground, during the playground, I talked for 45 years. No kid should be on that playground in the winter time. It's slippery, they're icy, and we're having kids fall at Buckland Shelburne School. We've already had 3 broken arms this year. Well, again, and that's good weather. I mean,
the access is open. Okay, it is open from April to November.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Where the issue is that it's not open early enough for some people. And I understand that. And I'm sorry, but the town can't afford to have somebody coming in there,
Snowing.
you know?
People should not have to park and walk their kids with one truck.
But if it's snowing, then they shouldn't be
It's
on.
not snowing, I'm talking about.
Well, it's,
we don't control the parking. In moving gates and stuff, I was listening to you, and I understand, but we moved the gate back for 3 cars. What about the next 3 cars to follow them in? You know what I'm saying? We're opening a can of worms here that I need to look at legally. Because just because you're one of the first 3 cars, and that's no disrespect, I'm not telling you that way. Well, we could get 3 cars there if we move it. But what if there's 6 cars? Someone's gonna, we're opening a can of worms, so let us check, please. Like we said, let us check with our legal. When we'll follow through and we'll find out.
So Heather she can only hear selectively and she can't comment, but she just sent a message to me to clarify that the insurance reason is because we cannot clear the roadway in the wintertime. So we're not able to maintain a safe roadway for the winter. That's the main reason we can't open.
That's good, thank you.
So,
Thank you, Heather, yeah. Let's look into it, it's,
Well, but I don't think that's,
that's at least
not-
for the winter part.
but that's not where the discussion is. The discussion is on, what I'm gathering are the hours that, when, during the normal time of the year. That's where I'm getting the ire from, if I'm wrong. There's no debate on whether or not it's closed during the winter time. It's that it's not open earlier during the time that it's normally open, right?
There's a general interest, understood that, the town's not going to allow it other than that 1 year where that was provided. But there's general interest in multiple types of use, different seasons, and being able to restore the same kind of parking for 1 or 2 cars, like there was before the DOT closed off the parking there, which would be provided if you move the gate. Yes, okay, maybe 6 cars would be wanted, but there never was enough space for 6 cars there. It was always just a couple of people that could park there, and we're a town of 2,000, so that's kind of works that way.
It does, but,
So one thing so Heather, sorry, I'm like the relay here. So she says that during the season, we could potentially look at a policy that combines facilities and recreation to get the gate open earlier when facilities comes on. And then Cindy would be, or whomever in the evening would be closing it. So that's one possibility.
right.
okay, well, we'll explore. I mean, I appreciate the
I
raising.
understand the staffing issues,
Right,
insurance costs, all that stuff.
But I mean, a caveat to that though too, is that it's still not gonna get opened until later during the weekend.
Oh.
That would only be during the week, because the highway crew doesn't work during the week. So, and the pool doesn't open until 10 a.m.
Do they work 10 hour days?
or whatever.
The 4-day weeks
Four
during
day
the
week,
summer,
so
so
only 4
Friday.
days they could do that.
So Friday, Saturdays and Sundays, it's not gonna be open at 6 a.m.
That's why moving the gate would provide the opportunity and the ability.
It would. I mean, do you wanna get these half a dozen people together and they wanna pay for it?
I think we're already paying
we
for a
can-
lot of facilities at the rec that,
Well, I mean, it's,
so those of us who aren't swimming are paying for.
well, I don't utilize it either, but you have the option to be able to utilize the swimming area and the recreation area when it's open. So, I mean, it's, like I said, we need to do more digging on this, before I think really anything comes to terms with it. I don't, it's not, I'm not looking as an argumentative standpoint. I'm just looking at it as town liability, because ultimately that is what our job is to protect the town as well. So, so I think we need to do some more research on it, like Larry said, and go from there. So,
And your ideas, I would like to see your ideas that we're here brought to the attorney. Things were mentioned so we can get some clarification one way or the other. I'd feel better then. It doesn't mean it's going to happen in your favor but we really need to know, where, as Clint said, our biggest investment is to be fiscally responsible to the town, and that includes insurance and liabilities, etc. So I think Heather will look into it, correct, Pam? I really do.
I mean, it's mainly an insurance issue,
It is.
and we've definitely talked to the insurance
That's what I'm saying. You talk to
company a lot.
more than we do, but we'll certainly like your leadership in that again, so. And maybe we'll know the next meeting, maybe even something, just to be able to respond. No promise, but we'll try.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else we needed for the rec?
No.
Okay. All right.
So what are we doing
There's
about the
nothing we need to vote on.
What was that?
What was, how,
I just wanted to know, was there a vote taken to close it, or are we maintaining it to be open until it sells?
No, it's November 26th. The rec is closed for the season.
Okay, thank you.
So I think we're all in agreement for November 1st. So,
Retroactively.
yes.
We all have to go back to the first and
Yeah.
start over again.
I don't think we need to vote to close it, do we?
If you're gonna close it, see every year at November 1st, is that something you need to vote on?
That's just a regular.
Yes, but I don't think we're there yet. Let's
Or should we just,
do our diligence on this, figure out if we have to have
okay,
timeframes. Let's reach out to, get all of our questions asked at once from the insurance company. And then we can make a decision from there, moving forward.
but should we,
With the rec area closed now for the season.
I mean, as far as the insurance company is concerned, the reason why they tell us to close it is because we're not maintaining that
Well,
road.
exactly, but even if she's talking
So-
about, the other's talking about
But I mean,
basketball.
does it
No,
have
That's
I don't want you running around the
nothing. I mean,
basketball
we're not
court and it's all ice.
sanding and,
No,
and
We can't do-
salting and,
We can't do
and
that.
plowing,
No.
so therefore,
But I promised to due diligence, we'll at least get it checked out, and let's get some legalness to it, added to it.
yeah, I think Heather feels like the town council is not gonna really weigh in on that. It's really
No,
just
I
an
don't- okay,
insurance
okay,
thing.
then
I don't think, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
is there a
It's
sign?
not a legal issue, it's an insurance and liability.
Correct.
issue.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Is there a sign on the gate that says it is closed for the season?
not for the season, just says closed.
Maybe
So when
just-
it's shut, it's closed.
Okay,
maybe,
I think that once we decide on hours for the spring, we should invest in a sign that spells out the operational hours.
that sounds
Yeah.
good. I
Yep.
agree. Okay.
This, I think this gives us a little bit of time to, like Larry said, do our due diligence on it. We can have that conversation with the rec committee, with the insurance company, and be able to put it all,
She's fine.
put it all together and be able to, have set guidelines for it all.
because I remember at school, when I was at Buckland Shelburne, when it was a snowy day or an icy day, you didn't go on to play structures, it was that simple. Recess is outside, but stay off the structure. That's not too hard. It should work for adults also.
All right. Transfer station annual sticker procedure. The town will begin requiring stickers to enter the Buckland transfer station effective January 1st. Many residents have already purchased their stickers, but there are still a great many who have not. Those stickers can be purchased by coming to the town hall during regular hours or online. You can also mail the application to the town hall. Those purchased through the website or by mail will be processed and will be available for pickup at the transfer station. The stickers are $20 for the first vehicle in a household and $5 for an additional vehicle in the same household. Pam, anything you wanted to add?
So basically, this is kind of a little thing we put together that we can hand out, have Meddy start handing out, or Chris, so people can kind of see the lowdown. We've attached an application to it so that right now we do not have the link is not live yet to do it online. It's going to take a couple weeks for Unipay to get that sorted out. So in the meantime, people can just return the application and then we will process them and have them available at the transfer station. Or they can come in person, of course, as always.
Yep.
But we tried to put something together that explains it, and obviously there's going to be a bit of a learning curve. This is new, so we're going to hopefully just be
Most towns
patient.
are doing this now.
Yes.
We're certainly not like the first ones to try it. Almost every single town around us
Right.
does this now.
Yep.
And it's becoming, the cost of getting rid of bulk stuff is really skyrocketed, like most things have. And
Yeah.
it's a
And-
necessity. I think it's a necessity for us, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're trying, this will be an annual thing that people will probably get used to, similar to dog licenses.
Exactly.
Trying to make it as easy as possible. Having, if they want to do a self-addressed stamped envelope, if they'd prefer not to come in, we can mail it back. We do ask that if they go online on, say, a Monday, not to expect that it's going to be at the transfer station necessarily the next day. To give us a little, say about 5 days turnaround. I mean, we'll hope to do it as quickly as possible, but it can be hectic coming off of on a Monday. So anyway, that's
So it has to be done by January 1st, not at the start of the fiscal year.
correct. We're going to do a calendar year.
Okay.
Anything more on that?
And they do understand. We got a sticker to get in the dump, they still have to have $2 a bag.
Correct.
That's important. I mean, that if we don't say that, someone's gonna say, well, I got a sticker,
Mm-hmm.
you still, that's like paying your dues in the club. And then you pay for anything additional.
Right.
We're trying to help us and keep our head above water in this town. It's another fiscally responsible idea, so thank you, Ben.
So the stickers, your membership,
Yeah, there you go.
then the bag stickers are your beers that you're buying.
Well, okay, if that's the way you can get it. Oh, yes, because we were talking about the Eagles, weren't we?
Nothing we needed to vote on for that, right?
No, because you had voted on it
So
previously.
these will be at the,
I'll make some
transfer
copies
station.
for Nettie and to start handing out if you guys are good with it.
committee appointments. We have the Cultural Council, Arthur Samuelson and Cindy Fisher.
We don't have any paperwork on them, do we?
I did not see any paperwork for that. Is there usually like a letter or something?
Yeah, it's usually
Well,
It
it's
just-
usually just one of the,
like an application.
They're both reappointments, they've already.
Oh, okay, thank you.
One term, so you're not gonna see new volunteer forms.
Gotcha.
Okay,
necessarily.
thank you.
thank you, Heather.
The voice from
Thank
beyond.
you. I should have clarified that they're being reappointed. My fault.
The great and all powerful Oz.
Yeah.
Pay no attention to the woman behind the screen.
I'll accept a motion to approve the 3-year appointments for Cindy Fisher and Arthur Samuelson.
I will second that.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No documents to sign tonight, other than Eagles. Permits and licenses. We have the minutes. We've got the minutes for November 12th, 2024. I was not present for that meeting, so you guys will have to vote on that one.
From 2024. Okay. Yeah, I just looked at it a second ago, so yeah. Okay, hold it. 12, it says.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the minutes from November 12th, 2024 as written.
I second that.
Any discussion has been moved and seconded? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous.
All right, warrants, we have the vendor and payroll warrants. It's 2512. I'll make a motion to approve the payroll and accounts payable warrants for the period ending November 19th, 2024.
And I'll second that.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Items not reasonably anticipated by chair 48 hours in advance. God, I think there was was there something we were talking about yesterday, Heather, that I need to bring up for that?
You and I had talked about the transfer station stickers,
Okay.
and Pam has addressed that already. Other than that, I'm not
Okay.
sure
I knew there was something and I couldn't remember what it was, so I have nothing else. Select board member concerns.
I want to compliment the color scheme that was chosen for the town hall. I think it looks really classy.
That's good.
I chose the colors,
You did the work.
Okay.
some of it.
And I said it last meeting, but I'll say it again. Thank you, Jacob. I went down to check on the lights all down there, and he had with me. His background in construction, he was able to tell me what the guy was saying. And I appreciate the help. And bringing the boss, he kept us in line.
That's right, that's right.
So thank you again.
Jake's been doing a great job. He comes in every day and helps move furniture and.
Yep.
Yep. Very appreciated.
I have a question. Why do we still have the detour signs up?
We're doing a hard top, isn't that why?
I believe that's tentatively
I
why.
have that in my town administrator's
Oh,
report.
okay.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't mean to burst your bubble.
Okay, I'll wait for your report, Heather.
All right. Well, we can move on to the town administrator's report.
So the only thing that I do have for you tonight is an update on Conway Street. I understand that you all had some rain this morning, so they did postpone the paving. It was supposed to happen last Thursday, but we had rain and then we had rain today. They're gonna try to get it done tomorrow morning. I've made it clear that we want the detour signs, at least turned off. I've been told by Mass DOT that that they will do the best they can. Apparently the actual, controls for that are in Boston, and they are having a tough time with enough people working in Boston this week
To flip a
to
switch.
find somebody that has the ability to shut that or turn the power off or change the language. I am working on it. I've been on the phone with Mass DOT every day, trying to get a workaround so that those lights are off for Friday.
They could always just pick them up and take them back to their DOT yard for a couple of days.
The only other thing that I can suggest is that we somehow figure out a way to get some very big black velvet fabric that we can drape over and tie around the base of that. I don't know if that's.
A tarp would do it.
Jake, you have your assignment.
I'll just take our little traffic sign and put "just kidding" underneath it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
But
Ignore the sign.
is aware of our concerns, and I'll be down tomorrow and we'll spend some time working on that to make sure it's happening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to just bring up is that the select board received a letter about a week and a half ago from Community Action, which is the organization that manages the food pantry program that services Buckland and Shelburne and our neighboring towns. They are concerned about the town's position to not apply for CDBG funding in a way that will continue to provide them funding. I'd like to have that on the next agenda with some possible suggestions for how we can offer them some support while they maybe work on a transition plan. Is that something that we could put on the agenda for the first meeting in December?
What about our neighbors across the river? What are they doing?
They're also talking about it, and they discussed some options that they've been thinking about, and they are waiting to see what Buckland's response might be.
Okay. Yeah, no, that can go on the next agenda.
Okay, great.
After the fall we've had, you don't want to boast about all the projects that are finished up.
I think everybody's officially sick of hearing about them. But everything is looking great. Just thank you to the community for their patience. It's been a tough season, but I think that, that in a way, with the Bridge of Flowers being out of commission this particular season, it was a good year to knock it all out, and we'll all be able to come back strong in the spring.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
And happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
You too.
Thank you.
All right. Public comment.
Yes, thank you.
Ms. Kelsey.
Okay. Thank you. I'll move over here because it's really hard to hear at home if you're not in front of the microphone. Okay, so this has been an ongoing discussion about cable. And so tonight at 5:30, this was not programmed. Energy Week was still on. I think Heather thought 2 or 3 weeks ago, or 2 months ago even, it had been resolved, but it's not resolved. So at 5:30, it was supposed to be streaming live. At 5:30, at 5:45, I came down, and I see it's being filmed. But somehow Energy Week is already pre-programmed, and it's up to Otto. I think that's his name. If I'm wrong, sorry, Otto. That he is supposed to remember to pre-program that twice a month the Buckland Select Board meetings will be streamed live at 5:30. So it's just not happening yet. So it's a work in progress. And I'm down here because when it's snowing, I don't want to have to drive down here. So here I am.
No,
We're all, I know, okay, the equipment is running, and got it set up the way it's supposed to be set up. So if it's not happening, and I agree, Comcast, right now, I have Comcast. I can't watch any of these things. There's the Greenfield Comcast, it's a much bigger program. For the last 2 months, you can't see anything in it. There's things there, it's all distorted and everything. Now we have, I don't know why, we have 2 access things, okay? I don't know if Otis knows why. We're ready to move from all this stuff here we have now to a really digital type thing. Comcast though, all I know is they're trying to jump on nationwide. Everything is trying to change. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Streaming.
Right now, they keep changing our access channels. They've gone from 9 to 2, and the last, I'm told now 7. I've got this on. This should be working. It is being recorded now.
And it's not you, Dana.
It's being recorded, but for all I know, it's supposed to be live.
And she's not saying with you because you're doing what you're told to do, right?
Have you called Otis or have you,
The contract is clear. I'm not allowed to call Otis or anybody. It has to go through Heather. I've read the contract. So also, just to let you at 9 tonight, on Channel 9 tonight, it was streaming Energy Week. It flops between Energy Week and Democracy Now! So it is streaming, it's just not streaming you live. So this is an ongoing glitch up at the streaming process where all that takes place, that magic takes place there. So I'm just down here to just update you. The fact that 9 is streaming Energy Week is working. It's just not clicking into streaming you folks live. And also on Sunday, I wanted to pick up a couple of weeks ago what I missed, and Sunday was not even streamed at all, not for Shelburne or for Buckland. And so the screen went all weekend, because I have 2 TVs, so I just left that one screen on to see if anything would pop on. And then the calendar programming is real clear. On Sunday, Saturdays and Sundays, Shelburne Select Boards will start at 2, and then Buckland will be streamed when Shelburne is done. So on Saturday and Sunday, nothing was being streamed, even the past programming.
Okay.
So I'm thinking if you're spending PEG money, if I think that's the term, you're wasting your money in the contract.
Yeah. Is this something we can try to get in touch with Otis about, Heather?
I have reached out to Otis after each time that there's an issue, and he does assure me that it's being resolved, but clearly it's not. I'll contact him again tomorrow.
Mhm.
And I love Kinsley's feet in the background. I don't know, all I can
All right.
Likewise, I'll talk to you.
Okay, thank you.
It's, I think it's above Otis too, so, you know,
Well, and that very well could be above Otis.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
But I think after Otis, we'll just, maybe it's time to tell people that we're just gonna stop paying for it if we're not getting the service that
I agree.
we're being promised. Okay. So announcements and upcoming meetings. Our next meeting looks like it's December 10th. Is that our next meeting? December 10th, Heather?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
The one and only.
Yes. Maybe. Who knows? She likes to.
You
She
gonna
likes
come
to
on
sneak.
Christmas? You gonna
she
come on
likes to s-
Christmas?
This is Heather we're talking about. We might be here on Christmas.
I have an announcement.
Okay.
There's no Christmas
No,
for shit.
she's showing her plug for Friday night.
Oh, yeah, okay, good.
Well, the Buckland Friends of the Buckland Recreation Area will be hosting a craft fair upstairs here at the town hall. You should come check out our town hall. It's going to be all nicely painted downstairs, and we're decorating our windows to be part of the downtown festivities. And just stop in.
Should have done that under public comment.
I mean, I guess
It's an announcement.
it's an announcement.
Anything else? Any other announcements or upcoming meetings? Anything else I'm missing, Heather?
Oh, I can't.
You're muted, so I'm going to take that as a no. All right. Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and have a good evening.